Now we're going to be getting to our staining. Now, let's have a recap. We've done our sanding, we've done our primering, and we've done our cleaning. So right now, all this piece needs to do is apply some stain. Now here's the combination that we're using. We're using our water base, pale yellow primer, and our cocoa berry stain. Sergio, go ahead and put the first coat of stain on and show us exactly how we're going to be doing this. Now, if you notice what Sergio's doing, all we're trying to do is get the stain on the material and all the cracks and crevices. Now the staining process, especially if you're blending and trying to match color, we always recommend 2 coats. We like 2 coats for one reason. It gives you the ability to slowly make your finish darker. All of the colors that you see here made by Pearlworks, the cocoa berry and some of our other stain colors, are a heavily tinted base color. The reason why they're done that way is because you can put a thin coat on and go from light, and as you put on more material, you can slowly make the same color darker. Now, what we're trying to do now is just get the material on and trying to get it even. And what Sergio's going to be doing once he does this is we're going to be using the terry cloth rag and wiping it off and on to get different shades and colors. So why don't we just go ahead and watch Sergio for a while, and you can take in this technique. Now here for the example, we are using a brush. If you've got large areas, you're going to want to spray it in a sprayer because it just makes it easier to get the material on quicker. Now if you notice what Sergio's doing now, we're wiping off most of the material. And the reason why we're doing this is because we're trying to get some contrast in the color between light and dark. Because if you look at traditional old finishes, nothing is exactly even in color. You've got light areas and you've got dark areas, and that's what kind of gives the richness to the material. And if you'll notice here, a lot of the stain stays in the cracks and the crevices, which we want. Now Sergio's coming back with the same brush. It doesn't have a lot of stain on it, and all he's doing is he's applying a light coat of material or stain and getting the sheen or the shade of color that he wants. Now this particular process can be a little bit time consuming because what you're trying to do is get the color on evenly, and of course wiping the areas away that you want it to be lighter and leaving the areas with more stain that you want to be darker. Finished? Okay, now from this, what we're going to do now is seal this coat with a high gloss lacquer. A lot of finishers will use a sanding sealer, and that's okay. I like the high gloss lacquer between each coat because sanding sealer, semi-gloss, and some of the other finishes all have talc powder, which kind of leaves a milky hue to the finish. So I always use high gloss lacquer between each coat. Now, when you seal the finish, what's going to allow us to go to the next step? If we make a mistake, we can strip it right off and go back to the step. If you don't seal this coat with a clear sealer, you've got to start over from scratch. So between each and every step that we're going to do, we're always going to tell you to seal the product.